Hey guys, this is Josh Farley back with another video. And I just wanted to make a quick video talking about my concerns for Magisk, which is actually the root manager for Android devices. So I've noticed recently that the developer he's actually started working for Google. He actually started working for Google about like 2 or 3 years ago now. And I've noticed that he actually hasn't been pushing out as many updates for Magisk recently, and it's been like months and months, in between, updates and stuff. So it's not that it hasn't been working or anything. It's been working fine. I have root on my Google Pixel 8 Pro. And I'm running, the latest April update. But I've noticed that his updates have not been as consistent. He says that he's still gonna, support the platform. He's still gonna develop Magisk and everything, and keep it updated. But he did actually say, in his videos, or on a post that he put, on Twitter, it was called at the time. Now it's called X or whatever it's called. But he actually did start working for Google. So he's a lot more busy now. He's busier, than he was, before he started working for Google. So long story short here is I'm actually concerned for the longevity of Magisk. I'm actually concerned about it. Because I'm not actually sure if he's going to continue to support it or not. So he's obviously making really good money working for Google. I'm sure. Being a developer or something for them. Whatever he is for them, I'm sure he's like a developer or something. But this is actually kind of cause for concern, especially if he doesn't have anybody, to take over the Magisk, project. So I've noticed that Magisk hasn't actually been updated in like 2 months. And as you can come down here, I can come down here, and as you can see, it says the latest version, 27.0 was actually released on February 3rd. It's now actually April 16th. So that's like almost 2 months, 2 or 3 months, between updates. It's not that it's not actually working. It's actually working. I'm sure if there's any problems with it or something, I'm sure that he'll actually push out a patch or something. But it's just the fact that the updates have been far in between. Like I've noticed, he'll get an update out every few months, instead of like every few weeks, like he was doing before. So like I said, it goes back to the same old thing. It goes back to him actually, working for Google now. So he's probably, making a lot of money. He's making a lot of money. And he probably has more money, that he can actually put into Magisk. Because it does cost to run the servers and all that kind of stuff. To have it online and everything. There's a lot of stuff, that goes into making an app like this. You just don't make it overnight. So I would probably have to say that it's gonna be fine. But I'm probably gonna say that he's probably gonna get out of doing this eventually. Because he's making really good money working for Google. So he doesn't really have to do this. This is just something that he does on the side. And people, he actually did shut down his Twitter or X or whatever you call it. He actually made it very private because people were bugging him all the time, on there saying, oh, Magisk isn't working, Magisk isn't doing this, Magisk isn't doing that. And he actually put a post out on there saying that he's working for Google now, and that he's not going to be pushing out updates as often. He said that he's not going to be abandoning Magisk, at least for now. He said that a while back. It was like, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. He posted that on his Twitter account when it was called Twitter back then. But there is actually cause for concern here. The good thing about it is, though, is that Magisk is actually like open source. So anybody could redo it. There is actually other ones out there. There's actually other stuff out there like kernel LU. That's another one, which is basically like a root method. But that hasn't actually been updated either. I was actually looking on their website. It's called Kernel SU, and that website hasn't been updated since like 2022. So that's actually, not even as good as Magisk. That seems to be, maybe somewhat abandoned as well. So it's kind of scary here, with this because it's kind of up in the air. It kind of is. I'm hoping that somebody would take over Magisk. Like I said, it is open source. So I'm hoping, that he has somebody that can actually take it over, if he actually does give it up, because it's scary, because I like to root my phones, I like to root my phone. I have my Google Pixel 8 Pro rooted, as I said, I have a bunch of, Magisk modules installed, super user stuff installed, a bunch of stuff, like classic power menu, Iconify, Pixel Expert, all that kind of stuff. That relies on Magisk, BusyBox, as you can see here, stuff like that you can hide, apps and stuff from root, Shimiko, systemless host, theming, stuff like that, just different stuff that you can do, with your phone if it's rooted, compared to not being rooted. So, I just wanted to get a quick video out and talk about this because it is kind of concerning, so I'm hoping, that somebody is going to take this over, once he actually steps aside, which I actually think that eventually he will because, like I said, he's making a lot of money at Google, working for Google, so he doesn't really have to do this, I mean, he might continue to do it, because he did say on Twitter that he wasn't going to, abandon it, but he said that the updates were not going to be as, as reliable. He said that they weren't going to be pushed out as often. So, I've, noticed it. I've noticed it for sure. But, it's not like Magisk doesn't work or anything. It's still working, so if something happened to it, I'm sure either him or another developer, like I said, I'm sure that there's other developers, behind this, that could actually help or take it over, if he's busy or something. But, I'm hoping that, I'm hoping that this is not going to be the end of Magisk. I'm hoping that it's not going to, be the end of it, because it's actually scary, that there's not too many other options out there, for Magisk. There's not many options out there that are as good as Magisk, as I should say. So, it is kind of scary, for people that root, but, he has a life. That's the thing. I mean, these developers, that even make the root, apps or root APKs, or, Magisk modules, or Elspos modules and stuff, these are third-party developers, you have to realize, that they have lives other than, rooting and stuff, they have lives other than coding and, all that kind of stuff, they're not really, worried about stuff like that. There's another example. I'm trying to think of that, I'm trying to think of that one really good repo or something that it was called. Trying to not Pixel Expert because that's the newest one for customization. Like Gravity Box. That's actually the one that I was thinking of. So Gravity Box, which was a really well known root APK. That actually got abandoned. Because the developer actually gave up on it. Because every Android update, every Android update with tweaking apps like that, like Pixel Expert, for example, basically every Android update you have to be on top of it, and update it because they make changes to the Android OS, the Android operating system. So Gravity Box, basically went under because the developer, he actually said that he got tired of, always having to update it because of Android, changing stuff and everything. So with rooting, it's basically the same thing. Android changes things, and then it becomes, harder, to push out updates, for Magisk and stuff, to keep root access on phones and everything. It's a lot easier than it used to be for rooting phones and stuff, but it's still, it still takes time. It still takes time to make this kind of stuff. Like Magisk and Elspos, Gravity Box, stuff like that. It just takes time. And like I said, he works for Google now. So he just has, he doesn't have as much time, to do this kind of stuff. So that's, basically what I'm getting at. But anyway, that's basically the video, guys. I'm hoping that this is not the end for Magisk. I'm hoping that he's going to continue to support it and stuff. I figure that I would make a quick video on this because it is, it is somewhat worrisome, especially to me, that likes to have my phone rooted. It's definitely, somewhat worrisome, but, we'll see. I'm hoping that it's not going to, be the end anytime soon. But, it's definitely, not looking good, with the longer he, takes to push out updates. It's definitely not looking good. So, but anyway, we'll see. Like I said, it is, it is a open source project, so I'm sure, maybe somebody would take it over, and he might even have somebody as a backup, to take it over, so we don't really know. But, like I said, I just wanted to get this video out there, and I wanted to touch on this a little bit. I'll probably make another video on it, maybe in the future. But for now, I just wanted to get this video out there and, talk about it a little bit. But anyway, yeah, guys, like I said, just wanted to get this video out there. And if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, guys.